Oh, there we go.
We are live. Okay, we'd like to call to order the Board of Aldermen meeting for the City of Twin Oaks for Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
April, would you call roll, please?
Sure. Alderman Eisenhower? Here. Alderman Stokel?
Here.
Alderman Whitmore?
Here.
Mayor Fortune?
Here. Okay, we have an agenda for tonight's meeting that has been properly posted. I'm going to make one change to it. We're going to strike the Park Committee report on section 6. Joe will not be here. And they did not have a quorum last time for the park meeting anyway, so he wouldn't have anything to report. So with that, is there an approval for the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. We have a consent agenda. Board of Aldermen work session meeting minutes from May 29th. Board meeting minutes from June the 5th. Bills list from June the 1st to June 21st. Credit card statement on May 2024. And the annual report to the board on the 2024 bond compliance.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Maybe not.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Consent agenda is approved. Report of committee financial statements. Mr. Watson.
Hello, all. Well, you have in your packet the May 31st financial report. And it reflects the continued stability of the city's finances through the first 5 months. The city still has over 1.9 million in cash. Total fund balances are around $2.1 million. Not a whole lot has changed in the last month. City has brought in about $32,000 on page 3 of the report, about $32,000 more than it's spent so far this year. And of course, sales tax is always the main topic when looking at the revenues. Sales tax is still down a little bit, but that reflects the first 2 months, which are going to end up being adjusted at the end of the year. And the last 3 months have been quite healthy, and not reflected in this is June's sales tax, which is up considerably. And a lot of that has to do with one big filer, Schnucks. We'll have 2 months in next month's sales tax, the June sales tax we see. So that's going to make things even more healthy. And if you look on page 4, I have broken down all of the different sales taxes, and it does reflect, excuse me, a small decrease from 2024 in the total. And as you can see, the sales taxes are coming in pretty much where the budget is. We have gotten about 41% of the total for the year. And in past years, that pretty much projects out to of making the budget. Last year at this time, because of the unusual nature of the first 2 months, about 46% of the total revenue. This year, 41% of the total budget for the year has been received through May. That is pretty much in line with what historically has occurred. Right around 40% of the total has been received through May. So I think we're in pretty good shape when it comes to all of those different sales taxes. Any question on sales tax?
Page 4.
Yeah.
Which 4 months are you including in your 5
It's
months?
5 months. It should be 5 months. Thank you. I noticed that this afternoon. I always got to do
On page
something.
5, the fund balance, December 31, 2024, is that projected fund balance?
That is the page 4 or page 5 is the budget for 2024, and that reflects what was passed at the beginning of the year or the end of last year for all of the revenues and expenditures. And if those all came in at exactly what the budget states, we would end the year at $1,991,000.
Thank you.
Now, if we go back to page 3, the other revenues, one area that's looks like it's going to be down is property tax, and that has to do with the property tax that was assessed last year. A lot of it is dispersed during the early parts of this year, and there was a lot of protested taxes, basically because last year was a reassessment year. And they did distribute some of the protested amount in May, so about 16,000. So the city's up to 21,000. It's far short of where we wanted to be, and that's occurred in other years where these protested taxes don't seem to end up coming in as fast. They're probably going to the Board of Equalization or something before they resolve all the protested taxes. So it's quite possible we'll receive some more here in the next few months. The other revenues are coming in pretty well, starting to get in. Still in June more is the business license fees. And I have included a column on the right-hand side of this to show where we are compared to what the total budget for the year is. So expenditures, we've spent about 35% of the total that we've appropriated, which is a pretty good reflection. Now there were in May there were some bigger items that expenditure-wise, park maintenance for the Stonebridge pump. We spent some on engineering, capital projects. Insurance was paid out for the year. So those are usually those are kind of expenditures that for the full year were received in 2000 or in May, or expended in May of 2024.
Dave, we're kind of at that time of year where we look at amending the budget.
Yeah.
Are we thinking about that?
Yeah, April and I have talked about that, and we'll get together soon. There are some line items that need to be amended, and the capital projects we need to look at closely about what was actually budgeted, what's actually taking place.
Okay.
So we'll be doing
Probably at the July meeting.
Yeah.
July
Okay.
17th.
So I think we've covered just about every topic there. But again, things are going on pretty much as planned and as they have in the past. So, I have been looking at the top 5 sales tax generators, and they're pretty much in line with what they've been. There's not any big jumps. The grocery store, the lag in their reporting caused a fluctuation, but otherwise the other big ones are doing about what they've done in the past.
Any questions for Dave?
Yes.
Yes.
For at least 2 months, I've been encouraging some kind of information about putting money on better interest rate.
Yes.
And he was supposed to come back with recommendations.
Yeah, and I've talked to April about that. We're going to meet with Enterprise Bank here soon and see what they can offer us, and some certificates of deposit or some other investments.
And Russ and I did meet with Enterprise recently, so we did talk to them about that, and they are also going to give us, they know that we're thinking about it, and they're going to give us some ideas about
You didn't give us any figures?
No, not then, because we hadn't asked then. It was just kind of the yearly
It was
relationship
it was an
meeting.
annual meeting.
Yeah. But they said there were several accounts we could probably consolidate, and then money that we could move into more interest-bearing accounts. So they are going to, probably when Dave and I meet with them next, they'll have some options for us to consider.
Good.
Are you talking about bonds or?
I would think CDs.
CDs.
Probably
They
the
recommended
best way, but we
CDs, yeah.
could look at some government bonds.
Mhm.
But those would probably be more longer term than we would want to do.
An enterprise would be our go-to.
That's where we would start, but we can look at some other options out there.
The one thing that did come out of the meeting, which I was a little surprised at, I think April was.
Mhm.
Originally, when Enterprise financed this building, one of the requirements was that we kept $2 million in their bank.
Oh.
And they have released us from that obligation.
That's nice.
Wow.
I guess it was Eagle Bank to begin with,
Mhm.
and it was their requirement.
Mhm.
But Enterprise wasn't concerned about that at all. So that will allow us to invest those funds.
We're deemed more trustworthy.
Yes, yes.
But the funds still have to be kind of liquid, right? So
They have to be certainly, they have to be, the principal has to be guaranteed by the U.S. government or FDIC protection. That's the most important. Return of principal is more important than return on principal. That's what I say. But yeah, it would be something that wouldn't have any risk to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any citizen comments at this time?
Oh, let's check. Well, we have some, but none I want to share.
What time's dinner, Mom?
Right, exactly. Pretty much.
Just a little hello, people.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any old business. New business, we have a resolution 2024-10, which is approving and authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement for construction services relating to the Crescent Avenue sidewalk and stormwater improvements project. And this resolution will authorize me to execute that contract with the contractor that we decide on.
If we
And-
decide as
As-
You
as-
decide on
yeah.
tonight, correct.
And we would like to open that discussion now.
okay.
So
Are the bids available for us to look at?
Yeah, well, we have, so if you want me to kind of give you the rundown, we did get a lot of bids. We got 7 bids this time. We kind of narrowed it down to the 3 lowest bids. 2 of them came in at nearly the same price, and then there was one lower bidder than that. So the lowest bidder was Sweenco LLC, which I was not familiar with, but we did a little research into it. They're predominantly a sewer and sanitary, they do like lift stations, things like that, contractor. So, and they will be subbing out all of their concrete work to another company. So I had asked for some more references about that. So that's the email that you guys got before.
Right.
They
Saw that.
sent me some sample projects of the subcontractor that they were going to use. Understall and Wagner came in nearly at the same amount, really close together. I think they were $500 apart. So both of those are well-known contractors in
Yeah,
the
they've
St.
been
Louis
at it for a
area.
while,
They were around for a long time. RV Wagner has worked for the village before, or city. I guess it was the village back then probably, but they did some curb work for us. So yeah, we have had experience with them before.
They gave
Anything
us,
you wanna
they
add?
gave us a site to go look at in Fenton, which was very impressive. It was very similar to road work, sidewalk type work that we're gonna be doing. And how do you say it? Unerstall?
Understall,
Understall.
Understall, yeah,
Understall.
KJ.
They did work for us back
They
when the
worked for
park was
us
being
when we
developed.
First built the lake. And they put in the plumbing out of the lake and through the condos.
They did the piping.
Okay.
So in looking at these three bids and with BFA's input, I would like to recommend to the board that we go with Wagner because their work is closer to exactly what our project is than the other two. And their references check out great. I think Green Park uses them quite a bit, and they're thrilled with the work that they do. So that's going to be my recommendation anyway.
It's fine.
And our engineers cited concern about Understall and the
They were not as
additional.
they were not as positive reference wise.
I'm fine with going with Wagner.
Yeah, is Wagner a general contractor, or is he does he have a specialty that,
They're concrete contractors.
or concrete
Yeah.
contractor?
Yeah.
Okay. So other stuff they'll be subbing out.
No, they will do the job. I think 90% themselves.
Okay.
I mean, they may have little things. Sometimes concrete contractors sub out like the caulkings, stuff like that. But it'll be
Yeah, Swinco, they focus primarily on storm water systems and pipes, and whenever they have sidewalk projects or patios, then they'll sub all that out. So if somebody wants to make a motion,
Can we get the dollar amount to put in for
yes,
section 1 down below?
for Wagner,
yeah, it is. I should have brought my glasses. 360,519. $360,519.
365,
360, $519.
360,000.
Yes, $519.
$519.
And the other ones, I mean, we had public bid openings, so the other ones were 360 even, and then Sweenco was 315.
So if we wanted to look at the details of the bid, can we do that up here? Are they up?
I can go get them. Can
Yeah.
we bring 'em?
Not this evening.
Oh, okay.
I'll come up some other time.
Okay, yeah, the bids are here on my desk.
Yep.
You're welcome to look at them, of course, anytime.
Not this
Yep.
evening.
Okay,
So I would make a motion that we go with Wagner, your recommendation.
And I'll second that.
call roll please.
Alderman Eisenhower,
Yes.
Alderman Stokel,
Yes.
Alderman Whitmore,
Yes.
Okay, and is there a motion to adopt resolution 2024-10?
Really wouldn't want to break the streak at this point, so
Yeah.
motion
Keep
to
it going.
approve resolution number 2024-10.
Is there
Second.
Somebody
someplace
gonna
in
second?
here that
We'll let Dennis do something.
the timetable is listed for
Yeah, that was in
completion
the-
date?
It's
or
Yes.
something?
It's in the bid package.
It was in the
It's
bid
all
package.
Incorporated.
It's December.
So it's not written in that document, but that document.
It's in the
incorporates the whole bid package, which says when they.
I
It
think-
has all
When
the
they're gonna
details.
get done then.
I think it's 90 days from start of construction, they have to be completed.
90 days.
Right.
All right.
And they have to be completed by the end of December, so the 90 days has to start. Whatever that backwards math is.
I can even try. All right, so do one of you two want a second my motion?
Oh, I will second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will adopt resolution 2024-10.
Great.
How long has this been going on?
So long.
Long time.
Is it
Years.
2.5 years?
That's why we wanted to get this done
At
tonight.
least.
At least 2.
It feels great to have a contractor picked. Yes.
At least 2 years.
Discussion items, administrative changes, meeting, time, day, work sessions.
Okay, that was my idea. And I sent you guys an email, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago for you to be thinking about it. I just thought change of city clerk. You can change anything you want about the meetings. It can certainly stay the same. So if anybody has ideas, if you want to change the time, I thought we could talk a little bit about when we have work sessions, why we have work sessions. Do we like them being before the meeting? You know, those are kind of things I just wanted you guys to talk about. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Sometimes the work sessions seem tricky, you know, sometimes when we have them, when we don't have them, what necessitates a work session really? So,
Well, I think if they're before the meetings, if they're at 6, you know, sometimes we get pushed for time because we have to start this one at 7.
Mhm.
You know, so although I like to show up at 6, rather show up at 6 than 7
mhm.
personally.
And that's something we can consider, obviously, is changing the whole time of the meeting. Paul, are we obligated to have a work session in any way? Or can all of it take part as part of the general meeting?
It can be, yeah, a lot of cities don't really use work sessions and then some do. So, and usually the work sessions theory is that it's just kind of a throwing ideas out, but you don't take any actions. And so, you know, it tends to be more.
A lot of times we'll have a work session to discuss something that we're going to make a decision on at a
Later
following
date.
board meeting.
Yeah. So if that be the case, could we have work sessions, you know, call them every once in a while when we need them on a separate time, date, TBD as needed? And rather than try to have them
Well, we've
Yeah.
done that too.
just prior to the board meeting?
Because if they're incorporated into the board meeting, the board meetings are public. And do we want the work sessions to be?
They have to be,
Well, they
don't
have
they?
to be public.
they're
Yeah.
public.
Yeah.
They're public anyway.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. They are public. I think that the I think there's 2 different kinds of work sessions, and some of those have to do with things like we're making decisions about. I mean, if we go back to just this year or whatever, if we're having our engineers in here to talk about some different things, those feel better to be put together with a meeting. Could also be a part of the meeting, right? I'm not opposed to that, it being, placed in the beginning.
Making
of the
it a part of the
meeting,
meeting,
right?
Yeah.
To just consolidate it into the meeting and maybe start all of our meetings at 6:30 instead,
Mhm.
right? Of calling it 2 separate things.
Mhm.
The work sessions where we're sort of doing more, and we tend to do these during the day, budget, things
Right.
that are a whole lot
Right.
more, like in the
Like
weeds.
planning-esque.
Yeah.
Right, planning
just-
type
they're just
meetings,
very-
yeah.
Capital,
Yeah, they're very in the
Capital
weeds. You know what I
projects.
mean? They're
Mhm.
like it's minutia stuff that if someone could come to, obviously, but most people aren't going to want to be a part of all that bottom stuff. They'd rather just be there for the But I do feel like the things that have to do with like big projects and as they're moving along, I like to have that. Either we consolidate it into a part of the meeting, which I'm not at all opposed to. The reason I think that we've always separated it out, or maybe some people do separate it out and others don't, is it lends to a little more free flow of information,
Mhm.
right? Where we can talk back and forth with the engineer, and it's not so like, okay, whose turn is it to talk, and can you say something, and can you know what I mean? Like, you're not sort of in the strictness of a meeting. So
Mhm.
that's the only reason that I think we have never put it into the meeting, is that you sort of then get into where exactly are the boundaries for what we're discussing here,
Mhm.
because those meetings generally have no public input. They can stay and be at the meeting and have public input.
Mhm.
But if we make it a part of the regular meeting, then are we just going to wind up in this long torrid discussion of stuff that we're just trying to get our heads around?
Mhm.
That we aren't actually making any decisions on, but we're just getting information on. And we're going to wind up in sort of, conversations that don't get us to anything.
Is it
So-
possible to have like instead of calling it a work session, like as part of the meeting, calling it kind of like a workshop or something where it's clearly defined that it's just going to be like maybe before citizen comments, basically just saying like, this is the time that the aldermen are going to discuss X project.
I mean,
But there's
that'd
not a public comment during this period. You
Right.
can save it for later in the meeting in public comment if you want to.
Well, actually,
that way it's
you can
part
do
of
it,
the
you can
meeting.
do it under discussion items.
Well, that's true. I guess it could just be under discussion items, just whatever the thing is.
be- I mean.
Whether it's discussion, workshop,
Yeah.
you know.
Whatever we call
doesn't matter
it,
what you
doesn't
call it.
matter. Yeah, that's true.
I just think that when we bother to call something a workshop or a piece of the meeting that would be called, whatever we want to call it, placing it up at the beginning so that people have time to sort of let it flow over them is a good idea as opposed to discussion items, which kind of happen at the end and then we all go home.
Mhm.
I like that idea that like, I may not think of this thing until towards the end and I can write myself a little note and be like, hey, we were talking earlier or whatever, right? It also tends to be, especially when we do the ones that start at 6, we're having someone in, right? It's
Right.
sort of like the engineers meeting
You
with
want to be
us.
able to let them leave.
Like I don't
Yeah.
want them hanging around or having to know
True.
when they would have to show up. So
Yeah.
if I was gonna do that, I would want to place it up in the top.
the
I
beginning
like
of the
that
meeting.
idea. And I like the idea of it happening before public, comments, so that if the public has a comment about that thing we just discussed,
Right.
they could comment.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
So are you
So-
suggesting starting the meeting earlier?
Right. I mean, to me, if we, and I don't think, I like a 6:30. I will just say that a 6 o'clock is difficult for me. I work full time.
Sure.
So 6 is like I gotta get there. 6:30 is like, okay, we've had dinner, I can leave.
Yeah, the other thing too that happens to us, we'll call a workshop at 6:15 and we're done at 6:30.
Right.
Right.
And then we just
Exactly.
sit
And then we're
there.
sitting here for a
And then we're
half an
sitting
hour.
there.
Right.
So if we start the entire meeting,
Yeah.
and we have a portion of that being
Yeah,
set
that's the
to some
advantage.
discussion,
Yep.
piece. And then there will be times where, as a part of the agenda, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Right? So it just all means that the meeting will be shorter.
Right.
Right? As opposed to sort of separating the two and having those gaps in time that we don't really need to have. So,
Is there more flexibility in a workshop to bring up things that hadn't been previously identified? Whereas at a regular meeting, you can't say anything that wasn't on the agenda.
that's really a good question.
That's,
for Paul.
that's generally the theory behind the work session,
Okay.
is that because it's known that no action is gonna be taken, it's
You can-
less
it's a free-for-all.
important that
Gotcha.
sometimes spitballing can happen but
Right.
nobody takes any action, so, the one big thing under sunshine that happens is that, well, it can undo what you did. Well, if you're not doing anything, then, you generally try to have some agenda that says, here's the
Right. Here's the sort of things we're gonna touch on.
But you're
if
right,
we
I mean,
touch on something else.
That's exactly kind of the theory behind the work session,
Right.
is that it's like, yeah,
We
but
get
everybody knows
ourselves
you
in
don't
some-
take any action in it. So it's just a roll up your sleeves and talk about things kind of thing. And there's going to be a little leeway of getting off topic, but generally staying
I
on
think
topic.
there's value in keeping that
Mhm.
as an option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
see
like
that.
Lisa said,
Yeah.
having those available to us on a different day, a different time, kind of like
Yeah.
we've done in the past when we needed budget, not as not on the same night right before the meeting, but still available to do it as a discussion, a separate discussion when you want to have a bigger,
Yeah.
like at capital improvement budget time when we really spend a lot of time, those kind of things.
Yeah.
I
Or
think that
should
makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, and those could be, daytime
Yeah.
meetings,
Sure.
right? A lunch and whatever day kind of thing.
Because we're not taking any action.
Because we're
anyway.
not, yeah. I mean, it would still be public and the public could still come and all of those sorts of things. Might actually make having the engineers and things like that available to us a little easier than asking them
True.
to take out of their evening hours
True.
to
I
do
think-
that. I don't really know.
I think we can meet both.
Mhm.
If we know we're gonna do capital improvement, budgeting and that kind of stuff, that needs to be a separate
It
thing.
needs to be its own little affair.
We put stuff on workshop that we probably could put
In the regular.
in the main meeting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we have to, we have to keep that in mind
Right.
that we need to use the workshop properly instead of just, oh, and by the way, we need to communicate about this, so it's only gonna take 10 minutes, so let's have a workshop. We'll stop doing that.
Right. Well, and also I think that it wouldn't be, I'll go the positive way, that it would be prudent for us to bring up things at meetings and say, okay, that is an agenda item for the next meeting, right? That's really what we should be doing. Like if we come up with something that's outside of the scope of what we're talking about, we really shouldn't be talking about it, right? We should just be saying, let's add that to the agenda and let's do that next time. So.
Mhm.
I
And
see
if it
Paul
gets out of
shaking his
hand, you
head,
could
so-
always table it until the next
Right.
meeting. You know?
Paul will keep us honest.
Exactly.
So it sounds like everybody wants to move the meeting up to 6:30 though, is
Does
that,
anyone,
anybody opposed to the 6:30?
like as a real start time?
Yeah, as the real start time for,
I think
Yeah.
it's great.
okay. Everybody still have,
Do
what,
you
Wait,
want
and
to
I
change the ordinance that, says it's?
Yeah, we would have to
7 o'clock?
change it.
okay,
April and I will work on that because it's also got a reference to work session, so we kind of have to figure out.
rework
That's
that,
good.
yeah,
I
okay.
think it'll just say, we'll have work sessions when we call
Exactly. Yeah, upon,
Just gonna streamline it
decision
a
of the,
little
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
administration and the mayor.
them. Right.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll work on that and have something next time.
But our starting time for the agenda is published things like the county's list of cities of all the.
Exactly, like,
Mhm.
right, we would
Yeah, we can
change
just update it,
Right.
yeah.
Things
They
that have to
update
be changed, identify.
Yeah.
Who we have to notify.
Yeah, the municipal league.
Yeah, municipal league and then
Right.
it'll be in our code
Yeah, we
correctly.
can change it.
And the website, and everyone.
Right, exactly, all the places it is, so
But yeah, you could
fix
You
it on
can
the
still-
calendar or so forth.
start it next month. Next month if you want. Or if you
In
want to
July.
wait till the ordinance hits, you decide.
Yeah, because we can change a meeting time anytime, so that's.
Sure.
Okay. So do we want to
We
try the,
have one meeting in July.
we have one meeting in July,
Yeah,
since
we're
the
meeting our
third,
meeting
No.
on the, okay, that's what I sort of thought.
Seventh. The
17th, I
third.
think.
I think I was
16th.
easier when it-
Cancel the first one?
Yeah, because it's on the third.
no, so then the 17th would be the only meeting in July. I think
Okay.
it's the 17th.
Yeah, I think setting that one at 6:30.
So you want to try that, 6:30? Okay.
Yeah, and then you guys work on language for.
No opposition to the date, everybody's still happy with Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Okay.
now.
All right,
Paul is.
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
that's
Go
good.
change it on.
Okay, all right.
He's the one we can't move.
I just want to, did anybody else have
We know how to get rid of him.
suggestions? Yeah, anybody else have anything that they wanted to bring up? Changes they'd like to see, anything different?
Are we changing any hours,
For the,
office?
yeah, for the office city
Yeah.
hall, I have that in my clerk's report, but I can talk
Okay,
about it now.
that's fine.
If you need any 14-minute meetings,
He's
I
your
can
man.
do that.
That's right.
Okay,
Good to know. Good to know who to call on.
Is that how long the meeting was?
I think it
14
was
minutes?
13, actually.
it was very fast,
Russ, would
that's
you
right.
please step outside?
It's a new record, yeah, it was.
Can you leave the city for a minute?
I see the minutes on that.
Yeah, right. So is that it? Does that cover all the, I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to throw out ideas and whatever. And, it doesn't have to just be tonight. If there's things that you'd like to see, me do differently as clerk, please let me know so we can talk about it and figure it out.
But, great.
Okay, and RFP for leaf vacuuming.
Okay, this was in the notes from Frank before he left.
Are you skipping her report?
No, it's
We're still in
happening at the end.
discussion items.
Her report will be at the end.
So the,
Okay, all right.
contract with Hendel is expiring this year and we need to go out for bid again. So basically I'm just kind of letting you guys know that that's happening. This one, I found the old contract. We started it in 2019. We had 2 additional years that we could re-up with them. It was 22 and 23. So now 24, it's expired. So we'll be going out to bid again for that. So hopefully ASAP, because we need to get on their schedules for this fall.
Sounds good.
And-
Move on to the next one.
Apparently contract for IT services.
So same thing.
Mhm.
We're kind of on a year-to-year basis right now with Brain Mill. We've talked about this in the past, whether we wanted to go out to bid or we want to just keep rolling over with them. So I open that up to your discussion. If you think, I think it's been 5 years or more.
Yeah, it's probably been 5.
Did we
That-
not get some quotations on prices?
We did, they didn't raise their price.
Right, they didn't, but didn't we also like look?
We haven't been out to bid in a while,
No.
like probably not since when I was on the board, because I remember
Okay,
I brought
okay.
it up. I was one of the ones that was like, we should go out to bid because it's been so long.
Yeah.
Just because I think, it's at a certain point,
If I remember right, the last time we went out to bid, we didn't get a lot of bids.
didn't get any bids. I don't know
I
about
think we
that.
got 2.
And I think if we're happy with their performance.
They haven't been here since yesterday.
Yeah,
So-
I mean-
Exactly.
I will say since I started, I'm very happy with their performance. So,
I think, I like to stay in business with people that do great service,
I do too.
just like our gateway sanitation collection thing.
Yep.
I think has been
Yeah.
excellent.
Great job.
okay.
Yeah, and I think that it's, like, I'm not opposed to going out to bid. I feel like the time, like, if we wanted to look at that one next year, once you've been in here for a while, because I have a feeling that we aren't in a great position to know exactly what it
What
is
we
that our
need, yeah.
needs are.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
so it'd be really hard to evaluate, certainly for us.
Yeah.
Right? But because you couldn't say, no, these needs are needs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just feel like it would be, we could wind up, going, okay, here's the lowest thing. And then you're like, this sucks.
Yeah, true.
And none of us meant to go there.
Yeah.
So if they're working, in my mind, but let's put it on the horizon and next year let's, because you would actually then know,
Yeah.
here's what we actually do.
Yes,
Here's
you're
what we
right.
actually need.
Yeah.
And that would be, I think, helpful for writing out a request for bid on that.
Yeah.
But
I
they've
feel more
been
comfortable with
pretty instrumental in the broken cameras in the park, I guess, John, if they've been.
Yeah, no, I think that
They've been on
they do a great job, but I also think that they will remain competitive, and I think that
Oh, I
that's
do
part
too.
of what
Oh,
you
sure.
do.
I
When
think
you
they
go out.
expect.
Exactly, he was
expect to
not,
be in competition.
yeah, he was not bothered when we talked, I know we at least talked about
No,
it.
no, yeah, I
So
think that
I'm
they're
not
well
worried about
aware
that.
that,
Yeah.
we are sort of in a more obligation because we are a public entity with public
Sure.
tax dollars that we do have to, get competitive bids every so often. I think they completely understand that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
But, okay, we will
All right.
continue.
Okay,
with
attorney's report.
While we're messing with the code book, I noticed that our code book says we're gonna opt out of the sales tax holiday, but we can't do that anymore, so. Is that, no, not since the use tax, 2022. When they passed the use tax, the ability to have a use tax, then they, in that same thing, they said, oh, but you're gonna be in the sales tax holidays,
Okay.
local government. So is there any update coming from, a big update that we could just
Yeah,
get thrown in there,
that's
or?
a really good question. I can't remember didn't we just pass one?
We did the
Dang
one
it,
for,
From last year.
yeah, the
Yeah.
2023 stuff.
Right, yeah, so the 2024 doesn't count until like November.
All right, well,
So
while we're doing this
probably we
other
should-
thing,
yeah.
there might just be an ordinance that gets that.
What
one
most people are
section.
doing is just repealing it
Yeah.
as a section.
That's what I meant, we're just gonna
Yeah.
take it out.
Okay.
We'll reserve it for if we get the right back someday.
Okay.
All right.
There's just certain items that you can accept, right? Or was,
You could just
Oh,
opt
yeah,
out.
you
The
could just
local
opt out of
governments
doing
could
it
opt out.
Altogether.
What you mean, what the sales tax holiday
yeah,
is?
right.
what it
Yeah,
applied to.
Back to
Oh, yeah,
school.
it did
Oh, back
apply
Just
to
like
back to school.
school supplies.
clothing,
Yeah.
school
Computers.
supplies,
It
computers,
was
electronics.
amazing how broad that was read though. It was-
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
broad.
It was
It still
a
is
lot.
very broad.
Yeah.
Like Ace Hardware is back to school, so.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely it is. Yeah, of course.
But now it's out of your hands anyway, so.
It's just something we can't actually do.
Right. That's all.
Okay. Clerk report.
Okay, so this is kind of the format I'm gonna take on the clerk's report. If you guys have seen it in your board packet,
Let's pretend like we read it.
I'll get it. Oh, I'm so offended. I worked so hard on this, Lisa.
Sorry.
Okay.
I promise
I'll try to
read
get
the
it
next
up on
one.
the screen. There it is. Okay. So general updates I'm gonna put at the top, and then I'm gonna try to keep the projects, ongoing projects below, and kind of get, so that we touch on those every single time.
Yeah.
So that everybody can know kind of where we're at on all of the projects. So general updates, new city hall hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. So that helps me with my 2 children at home. So thank you for that flexibility on that. So any other hours that I need to work, obviously out of that, I'll do from home. The park and community room reservations, since Paula is out on vacation, we have kind of put those on hold because I don't fully know how to reserve everything and
Yeah.
take all the credit card payments and stuff. So I've basically just been telling anybody that calls up, you can still call and ask if it's available, but we're just not taking any finalized deposits. So if anybody asks you, those will resume in July when Paula returns. You probably saw that we moved away from Facebook, Zoom for the live streaming. So now we have a YouTube channel that I have set up for the city. So we will have archived meeting videos available to the public when they want to watch them at any time. And it's a much simpler system. So that was something that Brain Mill came out, Kevin, and got our new camera up there mounted on the wall, which is really great. So that we can easily just turn that thing on and go stream straight to YouTube and keep all that information for people.
Right.
So the other technology upgrades, I'm sure you have heard about the vandalism in the park that took out all of our security cameras and lights and other things. So you didn't hear about that?
No.
Okay, well, we had vandalism in the park 3 nights in a row, not in a row, but over 3 nights. So they came down and tore down most of the cameras, all of the cameras, threw them in the woods, broke all the lights in the bathrooms, just silly stuff. So Kevin has been out to look from Brain Mill and is going to suggest new cameras that are more secure, more tamper-proof. He's been down there to the park to look at other locations with Officer Wayner about higher up, less accessible to people. Since they were kind of low down, you could basically just reach up and grab them off. So he's going to be presenting us with a plan for that and a budget to update all of those. And John has gotten most, if not all, of the lights replaced in the bathrooms. So he took down those original fixtures that had fluorescent bulbs in them that were easy to break and moved to a new LED, more flush-mounted system that hopefully will be less tamper-proof. So
Nice.
yeah, so that'll be better to try to keep that at bay. And we also were having issues with the locks on the bathrooms. They were not getting locked at night. So I went down there and reprogrammed it myself. And so far they've been working, knock on wood. So hopefully they will stay that way. Let's see, the next thing is, I sent out the call for volunteers to have some people. We've had several signups already. So as I suspected we would, for people to come and help on July, I think John said he wanted it Monday, July 1st, to put up bunting, to put up the rope lights. I ordered some other little like tiny flags that people could put around, some lights, like battery powered lights that they could hang, just so that there was enough, because we got quite a few volunteers. So I thought we should have a few more things for people to put out.
That's great.
So it will look very festive down there, and John will get some help getting that up so that he doesn't have to do everything. And let's see, along with the new City Hall hours, since the mail is not always reliable to get here before any time, sometimes not till 5 p.m., so we are going to order a new mailbox. It's actually already been ordered, a lockable mailbox for out front. So that way, if we miss the mail, there will be a locking mailbox for them to leave the mail in, and we'll be able to get it the next morning. National Night Out is the next. I wanted you guys to get that on your calendar. Tuesday, August 6th. Officer Wayner is working on that. Working with the fire department. We'll probably have the Cool Times ice cream truck again down in the park. We have looked at buying some kind of little giveaway, something inexpensive that says National Night Out on it, so people kind of understand what we're down there for. So we'll probably get something ordered for that. So I think that's all the general. Do you have any other general that I forgot?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right, so moving on to the project updates. So the stormwater and sidewalk improvements project, Amman relocations are complete over there. Actually, I found out yesterday that AT&T is completely done over there, and Charter will be starting soon. So there has been a lot of staking and all kinds of things going on over there, but
Putting up that 5G tower.
I knew that was coming.
No.
I knew that was coming.
that's not happening.
Oh, it is.
But we haven't gotten any phone calls. Just one phone call about a concerned resident with trucks on their driveway or on their yard, but they got that taken care of, so it wasn't a big deal. And yeah, pending selection of the contractor. That's what we were waiting for tonight. BFA is set to go with the notice to proceed and start scheduling a pre-construction meeting whenever we can get that going. So I said as soon as possible. So
Any idea how long Charter's gonna take?
I think they said they'd be pretty fast. None of them took more than a few days to get it done, so.
We won't delay the contractor.
Oh,
once
no.
they get his
Oh, no.
order to proceed.
Yeah, if we're just getting on notice to proceed, it's gonna be, I mean, we don't know yet when we can get on somebody's schedule, so, or on RV Wagner's schedule, so we'll have to wait and see. So the park grant, that is the park entrance parking turnaround pedestrian safety project. Had to throw all of those things in there. We all went to the park grant planning meetings. Jennifer and I went to one. Russ and Tiffany, I think, went to another one. So we all got all the information there is to know about how to apply for that. We did find out recently that we can apply, since we already technically have the planning grant, we already received that or got approved for that. We can apply for the construction grant in the same year. So that would be the August 30th final application deadline due. So that means that we do not have to wait another full year and then another year for construction. So we can apply this August 30th. So we just met with BFA last week and talked about the timeline. So since we've already had 2 public hearings on this park project, we need to have a final public hearing. So that will be on our meeting July 17th. And we will be reviewing the 2 concept plans that BFA is putting together right now. So one concept being keeping the existing parallel parking as it is, and then adding the sidewalk, widening the road, the things that we've all been talking about, the widening the access road to provide a pedestrian lane down the access road into the park. And then the other concept is to move to more of a diagonal parking situation. So
Wider spaces.
Yeah, with wider spaces to give more room for people to get out, strollers, that kind of thing. So they're putting those 2 concept plans together right now, and then we'll have both of those to look at the final public hearing. So then we will approve the final concept at the first meeting in August, on August 7th. And then we have a 2-week period before the grant is due that we can submit our draft grant to the commission for review and feedback. So that would be, Jennifer would be submitting that on August 16th and then getting feedback back, making changes, and then the final application is due on August 30th.
And when are they awarded?
I believe October, right? October is the award, so we would find out. And then construction would not be until 2025.
Sure.
For the diagonal parking, is that reducing the number of spaces or increasing, or?
It could be
No.
additional spaces. So it might be a few, depending on, they were going to map out how wide those spaces needed to be.
Okay.
So she said you might gain 2 or 3 tops, but they would
That
have
might
to.
be a beneficial.
But the
Yes.
main thing is to make it wide enough so that you have room to get
Get
the
in
kids
and
out of
out,
the car.
Right. And obviously in diagonal spaces, parking would be easier. You just pull
You're
in.
in and out.
There will be a curb there with a sidewalk on it. So you have something for your tire to go into and stop you, those kind of things. Just
Okay.
all added safety measures really for that area.
And on the hillside, anything? A curb on the, where it drops off?
Oh, on the other side, I don't know. Did they have that in their plans?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It would just be widening. They would have to do a lot of fill to do any kind of widening on the hillside. So I think the majority of the widening would be on the 141 side.
So
where
there's
they-
still a little bit of a problem with people, right?
Yeah, that would still
Do you-
just,
do you still have that once in a while? Yeah.
Mhm.
some of it's gone all the way down.
And I think that they're aware
No,
of that.
Explain that to me again.
It's someone who's driving back up, like, so I've gone past all the parking spots and
When they go to
realized
the
there is no
turnaround and they're
parking
trying to
spots.
leave.
And so I'm leaving, so I'm going,
And then there's
I
another
have to come
car
up, but this one's coming down.
meets, they can't.
It's
they
not
can't
wide
pass.
enough.
They can't pass. Somebody has to back up with assistance. John, a lot of times.
Oh, 2-lane traffic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think the idea is
It
to
should-
widen it where it
It
won't
should be
that won't
helped.
be as
I don't-
much of an issue, but
And
we
we'll
haven't
see by
seen the
design.
concept
Yeah.
plans. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. So they're working on that.
Well, that, on the hillside, then to me, you would have to bolster that up a little bit if you were gonna widen that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you
If
have
you're gonna
to.
widen that to let 2 cars pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we'll see what those concept plans look like when we should have them obviously in hand to review on the July 17th meeting. So that'll be good. And then lastly, the Bowley Lane entrance, so that is narrowing the existing median and adding crosswalk across the Big Bend side there. The thing we were waiting for was county had requested a maintenance agreement for the crosswalk. So Paul has already drafted that and we sent it over. I sent it to Tiffany last week, so just waiting for her to forward that over to the county and see if that satisfies what they wanted us to do. So I think that's it. Any questions about any of that?
It's 14 minutes and a second.
I know, that seemed like a lot, sorry.
Questions.
Yeah.
Questions, okay, what are your questions, Dennis?
Rumor has it that our new coffee shop is gonna be named the Baldwin Coffee Shop.
That's not true. Dennis, I found out the name yesterday. Do you want to know what it is?
Could you share that?
I don't see why not. Rosemary Coffee?
That's better than Baldwin.
Yeah. I saw the sign. I saw the proposed
Put in a
sign.
band of some kind.
Yeah, no, Rosemary Coffee.
Is that still in the works then?
It is, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay.
They're going to be in the space next to Sauce on the side,
On that side of them.
closer to the corner.
The corner.
Now, as far as our fireworks are concerned,
Oh, yes.
operator said he could conjure up an FM broadcast for us.
Yes.
Does that happen?
He is still working on that. So he had trouble with the topography of the park, obviously, with being low in the valley and being able to broadcast out.
Right.
So Richard is working on being able to broadcast from up here while the fireworks are going on. So he's supposed to be here this week to test again and see if he can do a better job with from a higher location. So still in the works, yes.
Okay, I would suggest, when that's identified,
Mhm.
that we contact Walgreens and have them posted on their electronic board.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Say
church.
Fireworks
Mhm.
In the
tonight.
church.
Yeah, both. Fireworks tonight,
Mm-hmm.
tune in to
Yeah.
FM such and such.
Yep. And church. We are also, that's another thing that I should see. I had too much to add on here and I forgot some stuff. I've also made a QR code for Twin Oaks. So
Church guy mentioned that.
yeah, so I made one in Linktree that goes to the QR code always stays the same, but I can change the links that are in there. So I can add the link with the information about what station to see in there. And we'll probably make some small signs. John and I talked about that. JK, John, not you, talked about that yesterday about making some small signs to have around in the park and up here at the soccer field for people to tune in to that and they can find that information there. So, but the electronic displays are a good idea.
Because I have no concept.
It's okay, don't worry.
Ava's got it under control, that's what she's
Yeah.
saying.
I know, but I don't.
Right, but you don't know how to do that on your phone, so.
You take your phone.
I'll show you that.
You
then.
take a picture of it with your
Don't,
phone,
yeah.
yeah, and it takes you right to the website. So, and I made some changes on the website too. You might notice there's some. I added the link to our YouTube channel, so as you're browsing around there, I made some updates so that way people can find the meeting streams easier and things like that. Yeah. Is that it? Any other questions? No. Anybody
Well,
else?
We'll show you how to do that QR code.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. I plan to, the next meeting on the 17th,
Yes.
I plan to put forward a recommendation for an appointment to the board.
Excellent. Look forward to that.
And I think that's all I have. Had a good time in Croatia.
No prior discussion amongst us.
When he makes it, how about we discuss it at that meeting,
And when are you gonna do that, Russ?
Next meeting.
at the 17th?
17.
Okay, Alderman comments? Tim,
No, sir, I really don't.
Lisa?
I have nothing.
Yes?
Happy 4th, everybody. Third
Third, yeah.
and 4th.
Any final citizen comments?
I'm afraid to look, but let me see.
Have you ever been to our fireworks?
No more comments.
Do you live anywhere close?
I know. I think he got bored and left. Yeah.
Might make it over.
It gets very crowded, but it's worth the effort. Come see us.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, with that, take a motion to
Concert at
adjourn.
7 in the
Motion
park,
to
and then
adjourn.
fireworks is at night.
All in favor?
Aye.
Dennis? Aye.
He's outvoted anyway.
Motion to adjourn is on the table.
Hi.
Meeting adjourned.
14 minutes later.